a farmer, I'm a teacher, and I'm an artist. And my family and I farm in a small village in Anton Chico, New Mexico.
And why, so you do a project, why don't you tell people a little bit about the Seed Broadcast Project and what got you inspired to do that work?
Oh, sure.
In a nutshell.
Sure.
It's even possible.
Sure. Yeah. So Seed Broadcast, is a collective project that began in 2010-11 with Chrissy Orr and myself, really sort of thinking about like how seeds, how story, how sort of the culture of our food and farming was and has been, I mean, for a long time, to different degrees, really marginalized. That, the things we hope and care and inspired by are our connections and our relationships to land, to seed, to food, and to each other. And a way to like really be able to share that is through story. And so story is something that isn't, and this is something that we've always worked with the project, that story is sometimes like those deep legacies and connections to the past through our cultures, through our community, through family, in the most diverse way possible. But also those things are things that we're dealing with right now in the present. The sort of challenges we face, the dreams we have, what we're doing with food justice, seed sovereignty, with trying to create healthy communities through food and seed. And then some of that is also the future, right? Of us kind of dreaming up the future that we want to make. And so I think all of those parts have really become very important in terms of how we see seed stories, and how we've tried to encourage or foster the sharing of stories, the creation of stories sometimes, and the regeneration of stories in the world that we live in.
So one of the things we've talked about in seed libraries is the idea of being able to collect those stories, and just like what would be some of your words of wisdom, some of your pieces around like challenges or things to be mindful of as people go around trying to collect those stories to share.
Yeah, well, I think what's really important is developing trust. I would really suggest working really locally too. Work with the community that you're a part of, right? Because there is there's a responsibility in that, right? That when we know one another and we build trust with one another, that we're enabled to really allow these stories to flourish, right? And allow us to feel, one, just comfortable sharing these stories. So I think that that's really important is working really locally, and then also really encouraging a diversity of forms too. And so that's another thing that we've always really been conscious of, is that some people are storytellers, like oral storytellers, right? But not everybody is. Some people really need to express themselves through other means. And so really sort of honoring all of the different sort of forms of expression that are story. So whether it be oral, whether it be written, whether it be through other kind of creative visual artistic methods like drawing, whether it be through sort of the collaborative, right, relationships that we form, like in direct action, that story can be active in many different ways. And so I would just really encourage people that are interested in this think outside the box too. Not to mention, like, is it recorded, or does it take on other forms that are living, right? That are really about us passing these words, or these sort of different forms of wisdom onward. And then I think the other part is to really think about, like, who is this for? Is this for your local community? who will have access to that material, and what's its end intention. I think those questions are really important to ask kind of before starting an initiative, but always checking in with that as you're sort of, I guess, in process with a project like that.
You can learn more about Jeanette Hart-Mann's work and Seed Broadcast at seedbroadcast.org, and you can see their collection of stories at soundcloud.com/seedbroadcast.